Okay, hello there. Hopefully you can hear me okay. No AirPods right now. And today I want to talk about why you should do the hard things first. Whenever something is hard, typically there is resistance associated with it. And the thing about resistance that I learned in this book called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield is that resistance typically accompanies anything that is good for you in the long term but painful for you in the short term. And so what this typically looks like for me is going to the gym. I love the gym, but the period between when I'm at home and when I'm at the gym, that transitionary period, the longer I delay that, the bigger the resistance grows, the harder it then becomes to take the action. The same thing happens when I'm writing something, or when I need to manage my budget, or when I need to plan out my meals. Like all the things that are good for me, but are painful in the short term. And I'm not exactly sure why that is. Why something so good is harder than something that's bad. And I think it just comes down to the cost, right? For me to eat junk food, like yesterday I went to Wendy's. I got some stuff, not great for me, but it was easy, it was convenient, tasted good. I was like, oh yeah, but I know it's not good for me. It might taste good, but it's not good for me. And so when you do the hard things first, when you're able to reframe your mind to say, hey, every time I feel resistance towards something, I'm going to go headstrong into it. You don't give your brain room to negotiate, and you take action on that thing. And then you start to gain momentum. And once you gain momentum, you gain confidence because you have the evidence to back up the things you're trying to accomplish, the things you're trying to do. And so this could look like getting up early when you say you're going to get up early. Taking care of all the tasks that you know you need to get done but have been putting off, because the more you put off things, the more you procrastinate. Momentum kind of works in the opposite direction as well, where now it becomes this cycle. For me at least, it's become in the past a cycle of shame, where it's like, I know I need to do this thing, I'm not doing it, now I feel bad about not doing it. I need to do this thing, I'm not doing it, now I feel bad about doing it. It becomes a cycle that repeats itself. But when you're able to knock out the hard thing first, it becomes much easier, right? Like I've been really thinking about this in regards to cold showers lately. My body is becoming accustomed to the cold, where now I'm like, okay, this is not as bad. Physically it's not as bad, but mentally it's pretty much been the same every time. Especially if I go from warm to cold, my body in the warm state, it's like, oh, I'm comfortable, this is nice. And when I turn the knob to cold, my mind goes, okay, we know what's coming. And then I feel the cold water on my back and I'm like, oh, haha, yes, oh. And the sensation is the same. And that mental kind of shock is always there, always present. Yet I continue to do it because it's good for me. So this is kind of the double-edged sword when it comes to what's good for you and making progress. Suffering is optional, but the pain, even if it's in the short term, is always the cost. And that's just the reality of it. That's just the nature of the game. So think about that when you need to get stuff done. And one thing I would mention too on a side note is the idea, and this is off topic, but this is what's present for me right now, is being like a one-of-one type of person. Now, to be wholly original is challenging in terms of ideas. A lot of ideas have been done already, but it's not so much creating a brand new revolutionary idea like the wheel or something like that. You're not reinventing the wheel, but adding your own flavor, your own spin to it. You know, I've been spending time lately on these dating apps, and like 80% of the people on them, of the women I see on them, are the same kind of person, the same kind of archetype. Maybe it's not 80, but it's like 60, 70, where it's the same kind of photos, the same kind of prompts. And perhaps, and this is a generalization, but a lot of these women in LA, I've noticed, have a similar archetype. Now, to be fair, I'm sure it's the same thing for the guys. We're all trying to tweak our copywriting and optimize the images, myself included, to appeal to the opposite sex, right? The trouble with that is it takes away your originality, and depending on what you're looking for, you want to change your perception accordingly. It's the same thing with resumes on jobs, honestly. Like, I'm qualified for XYZ job, and then when I go to the resume for that job posting, I'll change it, I'll tweak it to fit that job. So as I'm talking about this, it's really important to know what you want out of a relationship. And if you don't know, then just experimenting until you do is totally cool too. It was just kind of top of mind for me, because I was like, wow, I can pretty much see what this kind of like. And it's funny too, because it's hard for people to lie, I've noticed. Like, they can say the words, but there's always truth that slips out, you know. I saw this one girl's profile, and it was like, I forgot what the prompt was. This is on Hinge, and it was like, I'll like you if you're willing to degrade yourself in order to be funny and look crazy. And I was like, whoa, wow. Even if it's meant as a joke, to say that, like, you're willing to degrade yourself, I'm like, no shot, man. This is not a good look. And you go further down, and there was something else. I forgot what it was. But something else that to me was like a red flag. I'm like, okay, nah, this is not gonna work. So it's really about having the values. You can want whatever you want, but then having values, and when you see them not aligned, you know when to swipe left or when to swipe right. So do the hard thing first, know your values, what you stand for, and try to be original as best you can. I mean, this one girl posted on her profile, it was a quote from one of the skits from I Think You Should Leave by Tim Robbins on Netflix. It was very niche, very specific, which is good, because then it attracts the same kind of person that would like that thing. So I thought that was really interesting. And this is more marketing related, right? Attracting your ideal avatar, your ideal audience. But I thought it was really cool. So anyway, this is day 16, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.